So welcome, here we are back, and this is probably one of the last two chapters. And what you see right now is an IPR render, and as you can see, I have also added the power lines, and this was done exactly the same way like we did with the road. So I just repeated the process that you already know. And what you also see is that our fields are looking a bit differently compared to the last chapter. And by doing changes to the scene or optimizing the scene between those chapters, when I essentially placed the power lines, I came up with a very good way of optimizing those fields. In the old chapters, the harvest or the crops, the barley crops, had a size of 1.8 gigabyte per USD asset, and this was way too large, which has resulted in a very slow viewport. And I came up with the idea to reduce the size by reducing the amount of plants in those circles. So when you remember, we had a circle, a placement circle, like you see here in the bottom, and I had a really large and dense amount of those plants. And this is not necessary, and it also has the disadvantage that when you scatter those fields, you get very dense areas of those plant clumps. And this was not looking nice. So this was resolved by reducing the amount but cranking up the amount of scattered points. The result is more natural and more even across the field, and of course also more optimized also for the viewport. So in this chapter, I will work on the background right in here. We will add some more trees in here, and we will put some grass on the hills on the sides that we see. And we will also move this hill here in the background more into the foreground probably. And we'll add some grass here on this hill. And I will also add some grass here. And without saying too much, I will work on that. And I will stop this render. So as you can see, by reducing the assets or the asset data size, it's also resolved in a better readable view. So not so much assets are now blended out. I also, of course, raise the scene polygon limit to 400 million. So those are the power lines, and I will speed up now with working on the shot. So I hope you will see what I do. So what you see is a speed up of 800%, and what I did in the first minutes was to place scattered grass on the right side, besides our harvest barley, and yeah, I redid or used the same workflow as always to scatter grass. Then I found out that we had a projection error like in the past. So I looked at the mesh and find out that the subdivide was not a proper fit. So I used the divide sub in order to get it better projected. And I played a lot with the correct placement. I deleted some of those points so that we not have too many grass sticking into the crop. And I reduced some points in density and yeah, to have a better blending. Then I moved over to place additional grass with the grass brush or layout tool that I used in the previous chapter. I added more grass, and it doesn't has to be that accurate. I mean, nature isn't accurate. So yeah, I used the lasso tool to get the grass painted down much further. So I dropped down a new layout with some bushes and placed some bushes with the layout tool in the shot. And yeah, I did it very heavily also in the front of the camera, on the hills or on the tree line on the right side, as well as on the left side. And the great thing is with the layout tool, you can even delete assets that you don't want to see. So you can just delete brush them out when they are not looking realistic. Then I saved it to a new file, had a crash, came back to the previous saved version and started to render the image. The crash was because of the switching between sub-level and Solaris level. This happens sometimes, you know this. Now I come back to original speed. So, and yeah, I think this looks really nice. So we have a small area where the light hits the road. We have some grass, the bush on the right side. This drags us into the scene. Even more, we have some bushes here in the background and here as well. Our eye catcher, our machine should maybe be moved a little more towards the camera to be more in the golden circle, which is, yeah, maybe the golden circle should be here. Yeah, it's not bad. So, what we have to do is now taking care about the background. And I will do a screenshot as well, just to have some progress documentation, and save this file. Maybe I should do a screenshot from this as well. And what I will now do is I will deactivate everything in the foreground that we are not that we don't need at the moment. So we don't need the road. We don't need the farm fence. We don't need additional plants. Where's the rest of our scene? Here. So we don't need the trees. We don't need our robot. And we also not need the power lines. We will make boxes out of our barley. Oh, maybe we can deactivate it. So the grass brush is not needed. And the grass here as well. So I will select those grass groups and I will deactivate. So now we only see what we are taking care about. I will save again to 6.2. So we have an island here in the background, which is too far away. I don't even remember that I have moved it so far into the background. So this was this plane, and I will move it more to the foreground. So I will move it here. Go back to the camera. Yeah, this looks way better. I think at some point we have moved it by accident. So of course, as usual, we have to do it on spot. Somewhere here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, my bad. So it now should, yeah, this looks way better. So what we will now do is I will place lines of trees here and there very quick. And for that, we should go back to our trees. So this is the barley, and those are our trees. Tree group 1 and so on. Make it even bigger. So a new layout, but this time it's number 4, but this time we will draw on, yeah, what plane is it? I need to check that. So this is not the right one. So this is the right one. Mid-range plane 3. So I will link it to this one. And here, draw helper. Placement. So I don't even see it. Yeah. So we want to have a line of tree moving down into our view zone. Maybe the trees should be somewhere here. So that's enough. We will now completely copy this one, since we have to use a new collection, or I will use a new collection, and we also need to have a new PTS group and call this PTS group mid-range plane 3. I can call it mid-range plane PTS trees, mid-range planes, so we can also do it on the other. This is draw group 4. I will copy it, and what I will not use is this one, group 4. So here we have our points scattered on the area, and we will not want to have as many, though this amount of trees, so only a couple hundred, 150, maybe 50. Yeah, I think 50, maybe 75. 75 is nice. So we will not use this, delete it. We will not use the frustrum culling, and oh, this was the wrong, of course. This is 4. PTS group 4. So, but here we have to change. Mid-range plane is here, and we want PTS 4, this one. So, and we want to have a new collection. So we only want to have red pines, since, yeah, red pines, 30 meter is nice, since spruce trees are not living on hills that often, so red pines are more common. So nested variance is activated. Not want to have displacements. Want to cut the fruits and the roots. Here we need a new collection. And we will use all of those, so should be enough. Exposure. Call this tree group instance 4. And call this tree collection mid-range. So now we need to look if there's an issue. Maybe we need to check if we even have fruits on those trees. Yes. And now those fruits are deactivated. This is exactly what we want to see. So here are our trees. This is working and this is not working. Question is why? I want to try to use the collection one time again. I would love to use the tree collection, but it seems it is not working when you have these same meshes. So what we could do is we could do that. This should work. Yeah, you have to have multiple primitive inputs in order to make the collection work. But we still have the issue that our trees have a wrong scaling. So I will bake them out. And we'll look on what we have. And it should not work. Maybe this is not. I think this is correct. Oh, wow. This is correct. They are not scaled. Wrong. So, okay. This will change the amount of points that we want to have. So we are going back into our PTS group and we'll crank up the total amount to 750. And I will rebake everything and reload everything. We should delete those in the foreground. Those should be deleted. So go back to lasso. I will now come back. I think this looks way better. I will deactivate our dummy objects. I think this one and that one. We don't need them anymore, so cut them out. So here we have a tree line. Maybe I should add a tree line right in here too. So that means we can completely deactivate this branch. So we can even move it. yeah, the machine dump is also not needed anymore. We can delete it. We can move it right here, somewhere there. So, where is our line of tree? Yeah, here we have it. So here we have a line of tree, and the issue is we probably should have a bigger collection, not just those trees. So I will add the other USD trees as well. So the red pine 40 meter could be a good idea. Where is it? Can't see it right here. So, and we also should use the big bushes, or the bushes itself, where they are here. So this will make sure that we have a more realistic looking. So let us check this once again. So here are bushes. So, okay. So I will add more variants to the collection. A red pine 40 meter. Here, this one, that one. Did I edit them twice? Wow. Why can I not now? $38 meters. So, and on the bottom, I will add the big bushes. So, I think this is a 3 meter variant, and that's a 3 meter variant. We don't want to have those small versions. So, and now we will look through it. Here they are. And we are not seeing any of those bushes. So what we can do is we can, I think it's because of the prune, or do we have, we can even do the bushes differently. So we can copy this one, and here we have, oh, here we have only our bushes. So right in here, and in this one we don't have one. That means we will erase this last line. This will generate our trees like we want. And here we will use a different point cloud. So we will essentially split them up and do a delete, a simple delete for the points. Every second point, I will copy that and we'll change to this, so we have them here and have some here, and this is our bush group 1. So hopefully it will work. So our bush assets, we don't need a collection for that. We only need to drag and drop those objects right in here. Now we have some of our brushes. And of course, we need to use the other point cloud. And this was this one. And they are really, really tiny. So what I will do, I will be more artistic now and will scale them up by a factor of 5 or maybe 3. And of course, I will scale up the entire group. So we need to double check. And now they are bigger, so a lot bigger. And now we should have bigger scattered versions. And sometimes the viewport, here we are, is not updating properly. So here we have some, and maybe even bigger, 10. Maybe we should do this right here. Yeah, okay. I selected the wrong group, so 3 times is better. So, okay, everything that we want to have, so we will copy this and call this brush group 1, new reference, copy and paste the entire name. And this is brush group 1, of course. Copy, save it. We will save this one again, and we will, of course, reload. And now we will add it right here. And now let us look through the camera once again. I think this looks pretty good. So another line right in here and maybe here as well. So we will repeat this process. We will move everything to the right to have more space. So we will not paint here. So I will forward this process as well so that you don't have to wait too long. See you in a couple of seconds. We are back, and as you can see, I've painted some trees right in here. And what we will now do is we will place a lot of grass on those hills in the background. And this is one of our last steps. And for that, I will use some space here in the network. And we will of course use our drawing helpers again. And what we now have to look is where we have our grass. Our grass was here, so maybe I will move this more to the left to use the space here, or maybe we will do that. What we have here, grass brushes, so we can place it right in here. So I have saved the file to 6.4, and what I will now do is I will paint on all of these 3 areas. But maybe we have 2 ways. We can use the draw helper, which makes it more easy, or we can paint it with a color. And maybe it would be a good idea to paint it with a color, so we are able to choose the areas where we want to have grass and where we don't want to have grass. And for doing this, I first of all have to figure out what meshes we want to use. We want to use this one, that one, and that one. So what I will do, I will create, or I will drop down a new sub create, and we'll place it right in here. And temporarily I will copy and paste the camera just to have a better view on the entire situation. So we will not render this camera, but it will help us to see what we are doing. So, and I called it paint grass area. Paint grass area. Or PTS, paint grass area. I will give it a pink color as well. And I will now import the meshes that we want to have. So lob import, we want to use, I make it bigger. We want to use, where we have it, I think the 3. Of course we want to have the mesh. So maybe we should add all of them. So of course we need that one, this one, and this one, and the right one too. We will merge them together. So those are our background objects. So we will unpack them to polygons. So all of them are polygons, 1.7 million. And I will do a paint color, or I will use paint color now. And we will delete all the attributes that we currently have. So just to have a clear option, don't need texture. And this is also not required. We don't need that. So we only want to draw a color. So, and we currently see the mesh. I don't want to see the mesh. Anyways, this is not an issue. I go to the build tab just for painting. And this is our background scene. And what I will do now, I will paint a color only to the portions that we see. So I will use a bigger brush, 500, no, that's too big. 100 could be nice. So where can we define the color? We only want to paint on the surface. Attribute is color. Okay, here we can paint. So we will paint the red color only to the portions that we will see. I think this should be enough. So I will blast all the areas now that are not red. Points, expression, $CD X is 0. We will do this. Okay, this makes more sense. And this makes no sense, so I will use a blast now. Don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm also not free of doing mistakes. CD. So this is better. This is what we want to see. And what I will do now is I will scatter points, a lot of points. So I will crank up the total amount. Maybe this is way too big. We can go down to 100,000. Should be okay. So we will place a new null and call this PTS or out PTS grass mid-range plains or grass area mid-range plains, or however you want to call it. So of course we want to delete the color. We don't need this now anymore. And now we will look through our test camera and it looks okay. So the next thing that we have to do is we make this bigger, and we will use a new collection of grass. We will want to use the biggest patches that I have created just for those cases. So I will use the grass 2-meter tall variant. This is the biggest grass, or those are the biggest grass patches, really big. So I will switch back to the Solaris tab to make sure that we don't use assets we don't want to see. So we only want to see the grass. Maybe we should add a lot of flower grass as well. Wasn't a bad idea. 25 centimeter. Those one. Oh, the wrong one. Flower grass A. So with those small flowers in between. We don't want to scale them. For now, this is everything that we have. New collection, grass collection 2, mid-range. And we only want to use the half variant. So only half of the amounts of grass. We don't, since we need to scatter them a lot. That means to fill the gaps and to not have areas with too much grass, to bypass this clumpy look, I will only use the half version. On both. So this is the next one. We don't need that. So, and then we of course will copy this. Group instances mid-range. Here we have a new collection. This one. And now, fingers crossed, nothing will crash. Yeah, of course. First of all, just in case, I will resave the file. And we need to exchange our point cloud. So we have the point cloud here. So this was that number, and this is the PTS that we have to use. So jumping here, PTS, grass area, subnet, mid-range plane. Here we have it. So, and this will be completely different. And nothing has happened so far. So I'm back, and this is a little weird since copying boxes onto the point cloud is working nicely, but scattering the grass is somehow not possible. I am not sure about the issue. So I will use an asset reference now and directly load the variant, which is here. And I will connect it and we'll drag and drop it right in here. And it's not working. So the question for myself is if there is any limitation. Oh, we have it. Oh, wow. Here we have it. The issue was the scaling, probably. So we will do it once again. So we now know where we want to look at. And I will load the 2 meter grass variant once again. The half version. And we'll Yeah, this should be okay. Put them in here. Okay, now we are seeing them. Oh, my bad. So, okay, we will try a collection once again. It was just the camera scaling, so this can be really difficult sometimes when you have those big scenes. So call this mid-range collection grass mid-range collection, and here we will assign the grass mid-range collection. Where's the bounding box? So the bounding box was the way to find the point clouds, and as you can see, it's now working like it should. So we have some grass underneath the ground that we are not able to see, but we need more points. And I even will scale them up to, I mean, on the distance, nobody will notice it when the grass will be bigger than 3 times. Just a simple way to optimize the scene, or maybe 2 times. I will increase the amount of points now to 100,000, or no, 1 million. Oh, this is a really big amount of grass. Insane amount of grass. And here we have some flowers. Maybe we should not use the collection. Maybe we should scatter them how they are. So that those flowers are in those patches and not right beside them. That doesn't make sense. So we will delete this collection and we'll put them directly in here. No, this works like a collection. So we will regroup them to stage manager, I guess. Yes. So in here we can create a new child and call this grass collection. And now I will move it underneath. So here we have both in right here. And now I will move this grass collection here. And it is working. So insane amounts of grass. And we should use the quarter version to reduce the amount of grass even more. So this would mean that the stage manager is not correct anymore. So we should delete the stage manager. Makes no sense. So let us check. It's the quarter version. Here we create a new grass collection. Put this, oh, that's wrong. Put this here, put this there. Grass collection. Yeah, way better. Will save us a lot of memory on the distance. So we should go back to the point cloud and erase all those points that are underneath other shapes. We don't need to have them. So where are the points? The points are here. So this was kind of hard to manage just because of the viewport. So I will bake it out and I will reload it. So I hope this tutorial will help you to not make those errors yourself, but to have some indication where you can look at. So all the errors that I do can help you in a specific situation. So we have grass here and the viewport is not looking correct at the moment. I will save everything and we'll reload everything. And I will save this file to 6. And I will start a very rough render just to see the grass and the trees in the background. So render to mplay. So I'm back, and what you see is the final scene. So RenderMan has activated everything that we have not displayed, but RenderMan is rendering the entire scene when we are rendering to background. We have a slight issue here in this area. So here is a gap between those faces. We have to resolve it. And we also have to put a field here in the foreground and here in the background. I will place more fields here, and the grass in the background is looking good so far, so can't see any issue with that. And our trees are looking great. We should increase the amount of trees on those hills and should resolve this gap. We can even do this by placing more trees here in the foreground. We could put a line of trees right in here to cover this up, or by just moving the plane, but this would require to repaint all the areas. So without let you wait too long, I will do this and will show you the result. So we are back and the image is currently rendering. The final image, or it's not the final image, but a preview of what we have at the moment. And the pre-calculation phase was something around 3 minutes now, so I have added more crops here in the background and here behind the tree lines as well. I corrected the issue with the trees and this gap that we had between those islands. And yeah, we can say it's safe to say that we have currently multiple trillions of polygons in the render screen, and it's still running quite good. The RAM consumption that the render require currently for rendering is 29 gigabytes of RAM. So this scene is really dense, as you can see. But yeah, we are very close to finish this project. What we want to add in the last chapter, in the next chapter, is to place some clouds here on top of our scene. Yeah, I hope you had fun to this. We are currently in chapter 6.7, so I will store this file and see you in the next chapter. Bye.